The place was Seoul, South Korea. The time was 1988. A woman went in for a late-term abortion, but the baby miraculously survived. What happened next was the result of determination, love, and miracles. You may be surprised to learn some babies actually live after late-term abortions. Today, in St. Meinrad, America's heartland, you'll meet one of those survivors.
Teresa Ippoliti was aborted late in pregnancy and then wrapped in newspaper, placed on a shelf, and left to die. This is her story.
Teresa was born in 1988, so where were you about that time?
At that time, I had two sons, ages 2 and 5, and we were staying with my parents in Houston because Vic had been assigned to Korea, and he went on over to begin his job, but he didn't have a house yet for the family. So we stayed with them, and I think we stayed there about 3 months.
At the time, Susan's husband, Victor, was a major in the United States Air Force. While stationed in Seoul, South Korea, he encountered a situation which would change his life and the life of a baby girl.
Tell me the story as you know it regarding Teresa's birth and the first few months of her life.
Sure. Teresa was aborted. It was a third trimester abortion in a local hospital in Seoul, Korea, the capital. And in Korea, the way they abort you is they force a delivery, and then they basically wrap the child in newspaper and place it on a shelf to die. And that's what happened with Teresa. And this child was still alive, and the nurse called some missionary nuns. These nuns came immediately, rushed to the hospital, and they took Teresa, and they brought Teresa to a local hospital.
Teresa owes her life to the compassion and quick action of a nun in South Korea. During the 80s, abortion was legal there during the first 12 weeks of a baby's life. Sadly, abortion was commonplace until the 36th week of pregnancy. The nun, who preferred anonymity, said, "In many cases, especially during third trimester abortions, delivery was induced and then the baby was left to die."
About the nun that actually rescued Teresa.
Well, Sister was incredibly dedicated. She was dedicated to life in all its aspects. She's just full of energy and full of life, and she's just a servant of God. I mean, she really is. She embodies everything that of servanthood that you can imagine.
And she literally picked her up from the abortion facility, wrapped in newspaper?
That's right. And she and this other nun drove, she always tells me they drove like mad people to get this child to the hospital.
Teresa was unable to suck or swallow, which prolonged her hospital stay. After a few months, she was placed with a foster family. Then one evening, Victor Ippoliti was at a meeting and overheard a life-changing conversation.
I heard some ladies talking about this little girl who needed to be adopted. And this is before Susan and the kids got there. And they said to me, "Well, would you like to adopt a little girl?" They told me about Teresa, and they invited me to their home. That was, I think, on Thursday night, and they invited me to their home on Sunday. And they brought Teresa out, and she was incredibly small. I mean, you could fit her in my palm. And all I could see was this head with lots and lots of black hair and these incredibly glowing eyes. And she was really, really cute. And so I called Susan and said, these people have offered us a baby. And I explained, to the best of my knowledge, the handicaps and some of the challenges. I could never imagine all the challenges that she could face.
Still in Houston, Texas, Susan got a call from her husband.
I just remember him calling me and telling me about this situation and that there was an adoption possibility in that. Vic was already very convinced about it. He was just waiting for me to say, yes, this is the right thing. So it was pretty brief.
By the time we finished talking, she said, "Yeah, okay, I'll adopt. We can adopt this baby." So I told the host family that, and the process began.
So she committed right over the phone.
Yeah, she was pretty, I mean, she's pretty incredible.
What made you decide to move forward?
It was just a combination of factors, and one, that we had spoken out against abortion, and we felt like if someone's going to speak about it, they need to show it with their life too. And that was something that we could do. It was just what was placed in our laps, kind of the possibility. I mean, there still were so many steps to go through, but just the possibility.
The South Korean adoption program is the oldest organized international adoption program operating in America. In 2005, U.S. citizens adopted over 1,600 children from South Korea. Before adopting Teresa, Susan and Vic went through interviews with the adoption agency, complete official paperwork and questions sent to the U.S. for review, an in-home study conducted by a social worker, medical evaluation, background checks, and finally, a visit to the American Embassy in South Korea. All this red tape didn't deter the Ippolitis from adopting Teresa.
I have a nursing background, so I felt comfortable with all the medical care that Teresa needed. So it just seemed like there was a combination of factors that just made us right for the situation.
Thank you for inviting us into your home. Each week we feature real people who deal with real life issues head on. Some of their experiences are uplifting, while others will break your heart. But in the end, the message is clear. Those who follow biblical principles on the issues of life are blessed. Become a partner with us in providing a positive, life-affirming message to help change the way the next generation values innocent human life. Please consider a generous gift to help offset the costs of producing this important quality programming. You can donate on our secure website at facinglife.tv or by calling the phone number on your screen during normal business hours. Together, we can make a real difference for life.
Facing Life. Teresa survived a third trimester abortion in Seoul, South Korea in 1988. In spring of the next year, Victor and Susan Ippoliti adopted Teresa. The family is now living in St. Meinrad, Indiana, where I recently met up with Teresa and her parents.
What most vividly do you remember about her at that time?
Very small body, this huge head, and these huge, huge eyes. I mean, just glowing. And there was all this life in there. They were just darting around.
What sticks out in your memory about her when you very first laid your eyes on her?
When I very first saw her, it was not the day she came to our house, but as soon as I got to Korea, was her big eyes. She was sitting in the car seat of her foster mother and looking at her through the window. Her beautiful eyes, she was looking all over. And it just seemed like there was a lot going on in there. Yeah, in her mind, you could just kind of see.
What was the emotional impact of having a child that you knew was intentionally aborted?
It wasn't something I dwelt on at the time. It was so day to day, just taking care of everything, that even though there was so much work involved, it was like we had received this precious gift. And any child is a precious gift, but I think it was such a positive thing because we were allowed to be a part of that.
What were some of the physical challenges you faced with Teresa, the medical issues, when you adopted her and brought her into your home?
We really had been told that she wouldn't be able to do anything. She would never sit up, she would never swallow, she would never speak, and we accepted that.
At what point did you see that she was going to achieve much more than that?
Just gradually, even when she was a baby. I think Vic and I both felt it just by looking at her eyes.
Teresa set out to prove the doctors and her family she was going to excel in life. As she began to show improvement with her motor skills, she sat up, learned to swallow, and started talking.
I can tell you this one story. A good friend of mine was a pediatric neurologist, and Teresa, because of her, she hadn't completely formed in the womb yet, completed her formation or development. She had a piece of skin that was attached to her tongue that normally, just as time goes on, dissolves. And it broke, it tore, and she started to bleed. So of course we rushed her to the hospital, and this friend of mine met me there, and he took care of it. He said, "Oh, don't worry about it, it's just, this little piece of skin." He explained it all. And then he says, "Vic, you may not want to adopt this child because this child may be just an incredible burn on you the rest of your life, and just may be more than anyone can handle. I mean, she may be totally disabled and require incredible commitments of money and time." And I said to him, "I'm going to dance at this kid's wedding," and he says, "Well, you're being unrealistic." And the way Teresa has developed over the last 18 years, I don't know if I'll dance at her wedding because she may not want to get married, but I have no problem dancing with her now.
So life turned out for Teresa a lot different than what they predicted for her, right?
Oh, definitely, definitely.
When we return, we'll talk with Teresa.
I just find it sometimes unbelievable that of all the babies aborted, I was chosen to survive.
Basic life.
Whether you're a student needing answers, a parent needing help, or a concerned citizen wanting to make a difference, Life Issues Institute has the resources you need to put your values into action. Life Issues Institute is an international educational organization committed to protecting innocent human life. Life Issues Institute knows what it takes. That's why millions throughout the world turn here for help. Life Issues Institute has authored more pro-life publications than any other entity in the world, and its materials are printed in over 30 languages. Radio broadcasts, newsletters, and a website filled to the brim with the answers you're looking for are just a click away. Go to facinglife.tv and click on the link to Life Issues Institute to find out more about how you can change the heart of a nation.
Facing life.
Teresa Ippoliti survived a late-term abortion in 1988. Today, she's living life just like other young adults. She holds a job, plays the piano, and takes tennis lessons. That's just to name a few aspects of Teresa's involvement with her community. You're also involved in the Teens for Life.
Yes.
Tell me what you do there.
Well, we have monthly meetings where we plan out events and discuss what we're going to do, and then we make occasional trips to the abortion mill in Louisville.
Well, tell me what you do in front of the abortion mill there.
We pray and hold up signs saying that abortion is wrong, and we mostly pray and be a silent witness.
Okay. Now you have a very special sign, though, that you're able to hold. What does that say?
It says, "I survived my mother's abortion."
Teresa survived because she received the medical attention necessary to keep her alive. In 2002, the U.S. recognized the issue of live birth abortions when President Bush signed the Born Alive Infants Protection Act, which states an aborted child born alive must be considered a live person and given medical attention. How do you feel about almost being aborted?
Well, I find it kind of amazing because I know of what abortion is and how it's done, and I just find it sometimes unbelievable that of all the babies aborted, I was chosen to survive.
Why do you think you were chosen to survive?
Well, because God had something special in store for me to do, and probably something that only I could do.
Do you have any idea what that is, or do you think that's yet to be determined?
I think that's yet to be determined, but I think it would have to do with working in the pro-life field.
Any idea what you might be doing?
Not at this point.
What, Teresa, do you think your purpose in life is?
I think my purpose in life is to educate others about abortion and to hopefully save other babies from abortion by telling young mothers my story and pointing out that there is help for them.
What would you say your message is to mothers who are considering having an abortion?
I would say I understand that you're really confused and you feel like there are no other options, but there are. And the child you carry inside is a real person, not just a blob of tissue.
Modern science shows a developing human is not a blob of tissue. According to Dr. Stephen Kelvin, a perinatologist at the University of Minnesota, the neural pathways are present for pain to be experienced quite early by unborn babies. And Dr. Paul Rinaldi, a neurologist at the University of Toronto, found that at 20 weeks, the fetal brain is just as able as adults to experience pain.
It causes us to see that we hear the numbers, how many thousands are aborted daily, and it just makes us see that these are people.
Every child that's ever been aborted, I see Teresa. I mean, I see the potential for life and for growth and for incredible love and commitment and contribution to this world. I mean, all these kids that have been killed, if Teresa had lived in the United States, we would have been much more efficient in killing her.
If Teresa's birth mother had attempted an abortion in the United States during her third trimester, Teresa may have undergone a partial birth abortion. This horrific procedure pulls the baby feet first from the womb. Before the head is delivered, the baby is stabbed in the back of the neck and the brain is suctioned out. This abortion procedure was federally banned and later upheld by the U.S. Supreme Court in April of 2007. When we come back, we'll hear what Teresa and her adoptive parents have to say to Teresa's biological mother.
We don't know what was the decision that caused this woman to abort this child. I'm sure it was a painful decision.
Facing life.
Every day, people face critical life or death choices. The mission of Life Issues Institute is to educate them about the beauty and uniqueness of each stage of human life, empowering people to act from knowledge and not out of fear. Helping others make life-affirming choices wouldn't be possible without the financial support of compassionate people like you who understand the value of every life. We invite you to become a charter member of Life Issues Institute's Saving Babies Club. As a member, we'll send you our monthly communication, Life Update, to keep you informed on critical life issues in our ever-changing world. You'll also receive a special gift to remind you of your partnership in helping to protect innocent human life. Help us empower those making life or death decisions by joining today. Visit our website at facinglife.tv to learn how you can make the difference that saves a baby's life.
Facing life.
Now, if you met Teresa's birth mother, what would you say to her?
I would just say that she missed a wonderful person, that it was so much her loss, and that I feel very sorry that she felt that she needed to make the decisions she did. But since I have no idea of why she did, what circumstances were going on with her, what lack of support she had, it would just be a pity and sorrow that she's missed out on this person. But thankfulness at the same time that she carried her as long as she did.
We don't know what was the decision that caused this woman to abort this child. I'm sure it was a painful decision.
Maybe she carried her in defiance of someone's trying to push her in this direction of abortion. So I would want her to know what a wonderful person Teresa turned out to be, and what a blessing she is in our life.
Do you ever want to go back to South Korea and see where your roots are?
Yes, I would love to do that someday.
What do you think you'd do first once you got there?
It would be fun to see the abortion clinic still exists, and then I could hold up my sign and perhaps inspire other mothers.
I asked Teresa if she thinks her sign impacts mothers who are deciding to walk into that abortion clinic.
Even though they might still go in, they might see it and start thinking about it inside the clinic, and then maybe after I'm gone, they come out, decide not to go through with it.
If you were able to meet your birth mom, what do you think you'd like to say to her?
I would like to tell her that I do forgive her. I hold no hard feelings against her or the rest of my biological family, because I have no way of knowing what they might have been going through. So it's not my place to judge them. Or
Today we came face to face with the realities of one abortion survivor. Teresa and her parents are grateful for her chance at life, even with its challenges. They're also hopeful women contemplating abortion will see the benefits of choosing life over abortion. In Teresa's case, an unintended pregnancy has resulted in a lifetime of joy. Thanks for